I mean, my view is that if Trump doesn't win this election, it's the last election we're going to have. The Democrats, the Dem machine, has been importing so many people, bringing in so many illegals, flying in with this like CBP border app thing that nobody even knew about, like secret program. That's illegal, basically. It's illegal, but there's no action by the DOJ to actually to stop it from happening.
Interesting.
They're transporting large numbers of illegals to swing states. These are the numbers from the government website. So, like from the Democrat-administered government websites. Like, where do you get this data? From the government website that is run by Democrats. There are triple-digit increases in illegals to all the swing states, and in some cases, it's like 700% over the last 3 years. Now, these swing state margins are, sometimes 10, 20,000 votes. So what happens if you put hundreds of thousands of people into each swing state? When somebody is granted asylum, they are fast-tracked. They can get a green card, and then 5 years after the green card, they can get citizenship and they can fully legally vote. And when they do so, they vote overwhelmingly Democrat. And sometimes I get this rebuttal of like, well, a lot of them, their social values don't align with sort of the far left sort of woke ideology.
Yeah.
I said, that's true, but that's not their top priority. Their top priority is getting their friends and family also to the United States. And the Dems also issue all these programs, these sort of handouts, essentially, that make them beholden to the Democratic Party. So they vote Dem. That's what happens. So my prediction is if there's another 4 years of a Dem administration, they will legalize so many illegals that are there that the next election, there won't be any swing states.
Super interesting. Super, super interesting. And, I think that there's a legitimate argument that he's right? Because again, basically everything he said is true. And then if you think about the fact of what's going on in California, where they've basically made it illegal for local governments to require IDs for voting, right? That is a concern, because here's the thing. You mix it in with that, right? And then they have illegals that want Democrats to win for the reason of being able to get their families there. They have more handouts. It's more beneficial for them to get other people here, right? So they vote Democrat. Okay, let's say that's true. Now, if you have multiple states like California that don't require voting, like an ID to vote, well, now you can have a lot of people who can find someone's address or find someone that that died, right? And what they can do is, if that person isn't cleared off the voting roll, they can go in, say that person's name and address, and vote for that person. Because remember, they're not requiring IDs to vote. So you can also have a mass amount of voter fraud. Because if you think about it, Democrats are the one who fight against voter IDs, saying it disenfranchises people. But 91 to 94% of adults who can vote have IDs, and only anywhere from 50 to 70% of adults vote. So that's not really a good argument for them to make. But it's definitely concerning, because one side is fighting for election integrity. The other side is arguably fighting for the opposite. And then again, they're talking about fast-tracking migrants to become citizens. That also allows them to work to create a permanent Democratic majority. Real concern, but let's look at the next clip as well. He had some interesting clips with Tucker Carlson, so let's check it out. All right, so in this next clip, Elon kind of talks about why his mom and some of her friends have switched from being Democrats to Republicans, right? And it's kind of interesting, but it makes sense if you think about it. Listen to this.
My mom lives in New York, and it's my mom at this point has gone from being Democrat to Republican, and her friends in New York are having the same experience. Because you know what'll turn you from a Democrat to a Republican pretty fast is getting punched in the face while you walk down the street.
Yes, for no reason.
Yes, and then no action being taken against those who hurt you.
And that happened to your mom?
Not to my mother, but to 3 of her friends this year.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy work. This year, 3 of her friends. Yeah, that's wild. And I mean, if you think about it, it really disincentivizes people to live in Democrat-controlled areas, because in a lot of cases, it seems like they don't respect you, or they don't care about you enough to actually protect you and protect your property. So crime is one of the reasons why. I mean, let me put it like this: if you go look up the numbers. If you don't believe me, go look up the numbers, okay, and see, is there more people leaving Texas and Florida and going to New York and California, or are there more people leaving New York and California going to Texas and Florida? The answer is there's more people leaving New York and California that are going to Texas and Florida. The reason for that is a multitude of reasons, but people are showing us with their dollars and their lives that they prefer to be governed by red states. They're moving out of blue states at a higher rate than they are red states, right? There's a reason for that. A big part of it is the government and the way when it comes to taxes, for one. Taxes, how they view crime. It seems like a lot of Democratic ran areas are sympathetic to the criminals, right? More so than they are the actual victims of the crimes, right? So, but yeah, a lot of people are moving out of these Democratic ran areas and moving to red areas. The problem is many of these people who move from Democratic policies go to a red state and then want to vote blue again to recreate what they just ran from. So if you're moving from a blue state to a red state, do not go to a red state and vote blue again if you didn't like the result you had at the place you left. Okay. Now let's go to the next clip that Elon has. All right. So this next clip is super interesting, and Elon kind of gives his opinion on why so many people might seem to be voting for Kamala Harris. Again, this is his opinion, and it's super interesting. You might have completely expected this. You might not have expected this at all. Let me know in the comments below, but listen to what he has to say.
Will that ever come out, do you think?
You know, I think part of why Kamala's getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
Yes.
And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Yeah. Do you think Reid Hoffman's uncomfortable?
Yes.
Yeah.
He said that quick.
And Gates.
Yeah.
And I only ask that because you just look at them and you're like, that's a nervous person right there. I don't know. I mean, I assume you know them. Yeah.
Yes. Reid Hoffman was my vice president of business development at PayPal.
Yeah.
Bro, Elon's laugh.
4 years ago.
Does he seem nervous to you?
Yeah, I mean, he's terrified of a Trump victory.
Because of the disclosure that would follow?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think he's certainly ideologically not aligned with Trump anyway, but I think he is concerned about the Epstein situation.
All right, so now we're going to talk about, which I think is one of the best parts of Elon Musk being a part, not necessarily of the Trump campaign, but I mean, he was campaigning with him, so you could say he's a part of it, but actually being involved in our government. This man is arguably the most efficient man on the planet, right? And it's very easy to prove that. But rather than going in and proving all that and going down that rabbit hole, he's talking about being the head of the government commission of efficiency, right? I think he'll call it Doge and he'll kind of explain why, but I think this is something that would be great for our government. Actually cleaning stuff out and actually getting redundancies that aren't needed out of the way, right? That frees up funds. It makes things go faster and smoother. We need to do this. And he'll explain this, but listen to this because the man is very, very bright. So listen to what he has to say.
That would be helpful to know.
Yeah. Instead, politically motivated liars are in charge of the future. It seems a little sketchy. Last question, you really kind of pulled out a lot of stops to help Trump. You were on stage yesterday. If he gets elected, will you continue to help him?
Yeah,
how?
Absolutely. So well, we've talked about kind of a government efficiency commission, or the Department of Government Efficiency, which is a funny...
What percent? Sorry, I'm just laughing. I love it. You managed to make it sound a little sinister. Government efficiency. What percentage of Google employees did you can when you got there?
You mean Twitter?
Rather. I beg your pardon. Sorry, you just been talking about Google. Twitter.
Yeah. Well, we're about 80%, and we've actually improved the features and functionality of the site more in the past year and a half than the last 8 years, with 20% of the staff. So
I just want to throw that out for context. So you've talked to Trump about some kind of commission?
Which he's mentioned publicly several times, and he's very supportive of having some kind of, government efficiency commission. Can call it Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. I kind of like DOGE. It's more fun. Where we just take a look at all the federal agencies and say, do we really need whatever it is, 428 federal agencies? Like, if there's so many that people have never even heard of, and that have overlapping areas of responsibility, we should, I don't know, we should get, there are more federal agencies than there are years since the establishment of the United States.
Crazy.
Means that we've created more than one federal agency per year on average.
Crazy.
That seems a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. So we should have, that seems crazy. I think we should be able to get away with 99 agencies. I don't know. That seems like a lot of agencies.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
2 per state. That's a lot.
Yeah, exactly. We should have fewer agencies, and they certainly shouldn't have overlapping responsibilities.
Makes sense.
And then we need some kind of, we just need a review of regulations to say which ones are sensible and which ones are not. Because if you've got regulators every year, they're going to add more regulations, just automatic. Like they just output regulations, and there's more laws and regulations every year until basically everything's legal, so we can't get anything done.
Boom.
So we need some kind of garbage collection for regulations that don't make sense.
Bingo.
I think I'm saying very obvious things.
You are saying obvious things.
Yes, he is.
So
which will be very unpopular things.
Yeah. I'll probably need, if this happens, quite a significant security team. So that, because someone might literally go postal on me from the post office.
But in the meantime, you've got America PAC.
Yeah.
That is encouraging voting for the next month. Am I summarizing correctly?
Yeah. I formed America PAC really to support core values that I believe in, which are, I think, again, very obvious centrist positions, which is like in America, I think we want safe cities, secure borders, sensible spending. Tell me where I'm going far right here. We want to have the right to self-protection. We should respect the Constitution. Yes. And not try to break the Constitution.
Yes.
It's there for a reason.
Yes.
We should stop lawfare.
Yes.
And I kind of listed these out. These are all listed on the America PAC website. People can go look at the America PAC website. It's theamericapac.org and see if there's anything I disagree with, or.
Yeah, but I mean, throughout this video, I mean, it's a long interview. The whole interview is like an hour and 45 minutes. But I mean, if you just listen to what he's saying, the man makes some very, very good points. And there's a reason that he hasn't been political and is now getting political. And he sees the danger in one of the sides in politics right now. And he wants to make sure that they cannot, to make it very simple, severely damage the country would be a simple way to put it. I mean, if we have a genius that's built multiple billion-dollar companies who's way ahead of his time, if he's saying something, you should probably at least listen. Whether you agree or not, that's up to you, right? But many people won't even listen because the Democrats tell them that he's crazy, evil, and bad, right? But definitely somebody you should listen to and take seriously. That's all I got for this video. Like, share, and subscribe. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.